I'm here to say, face get checked like TSA. This is a PSA. Sports in my blood like DNA. We grinding for the chip like Frito-Lay. And I'm gon' let you know if he don't play. I promise this show will never be a bore. Checking out talent from Sea Keys to North Shore. All the way to North Shore. It'll never be a gimmick. Was at Aldine, now I'm at Nimitz. Kings in the city, we gon' need to wear a crown. You can bet us now, we the livest in A-Town. So while you tipping in your lab or your Chevy, or you chilling in your house, get your popcorn ready. Get your popcorn ready. I'm having visions of Bentley. Friday just put me in a football frenzy. And that ain't all we do. We cover basketball, tennis, and baseball. We do it all. This is time well spent. It's 7 o'clock, so it's time to vent. I'm here to say, face get checked like TSA. This is a PSA. Sports in my blood like DNA. We grinding for the chip like Frito-Lay. And I'm gon' let you know if he don't play. I promise this show will never be a bore. Checking out talent from Sea Keys to North Shore. All the way to North Shore. It'll never be a gimmick. Was at Aldine, now I'm at Nimitz. Kings in the city, we gon' need to wear a crown. You can bet us now, we the livest in A-Town. So while you tipping in your lab or your Chevy, or you chilling in your house, get your popcorn ready. Get your popcorn ready. I'm having visions of Bentley. Friday just put me in a football frenzy. And that ain't all we do. We cover basketball, tennis, and baseball. We do it all. This is time well spent. It's 7 o'clock, so it's time to vent.
Happy Tuesday. How's everybody doing? It's 7 o'clock in the 8, y'all, and it's time to vent. I'm your host, Gentre Williams, joined by Darrian Valsin, man. How you doing?
I'm good, man. It's been an absolutely perfect, wonderful Tuesday without any issues and problems.
Right. We just had a little minor setback for a major comeback. We have a great show coming up for you guys today. We're going to lead off with big news in the NFL. It really shouldn't be that big of a news as we said earlier, but it is. Tim Tebow was cut from the Jacksonville Jaguars. If you guys remember correctly, Tim Tebow played under Urban Meyer in the University of Florida days, and he brought Tim Tebow on the Jaguars roster to try to help that team, but it just didn't work out in the first preseason game. Like I said, I watched the game. He didn't really make any impact. Just how does this news land with you, Darren, with Tim Tebow not making the Jaguars roster?
Well, once again, it's an absolute non-issue. And Tim Tebow, though was a great college football player in his time, kind of somewhat got overshadowed because of the extra stuff. That was his fault somewhat, and then not his fault. But, you know, he became pretty much a celebrity just as much as a football player. And the news that when Urban Meyer decided to have him convert to a tight end, which he should have did going into the draft.
Coming out, I thought he should have went to tight end or fullback.
Exactly. I mean, most people were saying, the H-back tight end, pass catcher type of deal. But, you know, that didn't work out. He comes back. He decides to get an opportunity, try his hand finally at tight end at, 34, 35.
Yeah, he's been out the league too long.
Yeah, he's transitioning even as a young player is difficult. But if you've been out of the league for almost 10 years and, you know, at the age of 34, you know, it's almost impossible. So he had the odds against him on that one. But, you know, Urban Meyer, you know, being the connection that he had with Tim, and not just the connection, you know, they had a real, you know, good relationship.
It was a good friendship.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't just so much he played for me. He actually looked at Tebow as another son.
Wow.
So, you know, having that, you know, relationship with him, he wanted to give him an opportunity to, you know, chase this one chance. And it did not work out. As you said, he didn't make an impact. In fact, the only impact he made was the viral video they had of him whiffing 2 blocks because he couldn't. I mean, you know,
he's a big quarterback.
Guy. Yeah, exactly. So he's not a tight end. He could learn the position.
Yes, if he would have started out from his first day in the NFL as a tight end or a fullback, I thought he could have had a successful NFL career. But you know, he made that decision and he wanted to play quarterback. He did have a great playoff game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. He had one.
Don't do that.
Oh,
we got Pittsburgh. Don't do that.
I'm sorry, Ms. Brown.
Sorry, Mom.
I do apologize.
We didn't go through that in pre-tape. I should have said don't mention that.
Yeah, he had a great, also a great career at Florida. He was a tremendous athlete. So huge shout out to Tim Tebow if he does decide to hang up the cleats and do retire from football.
No, do it. Well, no, because he was doing good as an analyst, man. I thought he did some really good work when he was working on the SEC network.
Right.
He played baseball, didn't he?
Yeah, he went to play baseball. And a lot of baseball guys were kind of upset because he didn't take the same route that they got.
Right, because he's a celebrity. But, I mean, go ahead, do whatever you want to do. I mean, I'm sure he's got plenty of money and notoriety because, you know, he's a guy, religious guy, but he's not the only religious NFL player. Not get that. There's plenty of guys who wear their faith on their sleeve, but
literally,
he's been a guy who's been, you know, famous in the religious circle. He definitely still has a voice in that era.
That's his own website.
Exactly. Yeah, he does a lot of things, and he's a very benevolent guy too. You know, I don't want to take away from
benevolent. That's a new one for me.
You never heard that word before? I'm not gonna spell it out either. I know the word. I ain't gonna spell it. I probably need to look at it. You know, I need a visual to see it. But benevolence, very giving person. So he's definitely a good person. I think he's got plenty of opportunities. But I do understand him wanting to give it that shot, it that. But it was 10 years too late, and it was clear as day when we watched the tape.
I think more so with Urban Meyer, he was bringing Tim Tebow on for that leadership role. He had a great leadership in Florida, but I just don't know if, you know, at Florida, it's easy to be the leader when you have Heisman trophies and you're a star quarterback and you're breaking records. Yeah, a bunch of guys. You
got to be the guy.
Yeah, a bunch of guys to get behind you, but when you go to an NFL team, it's just you're not going to galvanize that entire locker room. And I'm thinking that Urban Meyer thought it might work, but this is a new generation of players. Mm-hmm. All that, you know, pregame rah-rah, I mean, it works to a certain extent, but they don't want to hear that from Tim Tebow, who's a guy fighting for
a four-string tight end at best.
Right,
you know,
right.
So I'll listen to you more if you're the head guy, the captain of the team, the Heisman Trophy winner. But you're a guy fighting on a roster spot that I'm probably going to be guaranteed. And, man, hey, shut up, man! I'm trying to listen to my music in the locker room.
Exactly. And moving on to just some more football news, Brent Favre, he came out today and he was talking about that he feels that most players shouldn't start playing football as far as like the tackling version of football to the age of 14. And I did a little studying in from Boston Medical University research. Some doctors have said that there's like a 13-year difference of like showing symptoms and signs of these guys in their CTEs, and they studied over 246 players, who volunteered after they passed away to have their brains researched, and some of the numbers are staggering, and it is kind of scary. But I really think football as a whole for the last 5 years we've gotten ahead of the situation. There's less practicing, less head-to-head contacts. Officials have been more contingent on getting those calls right. You don't want to see guys leading with their head, and we're cleaning up the game to make it a safer game. Right. So I understand where Brett Favre is coming from, but for me, as a youngster, I think football was, good for me playing at a young age because it helped me shape me into a better man.
Sure. I mean, that argument could be made. Let me first start out by saying that of all the things that Brett Favre has said within the past several months, this is probably one of the more rational, sane things he's said. So I'm going to say that I understand where he's coming from because within these past several years, we've gained more of an understanding of the long-lasting effects the game of football has on the brain. Right. And then your brain, that's your most important organ, next to the heart. I ain't no doctor. Yeah. But so I understand where he's coming from, and I do get that younger kids, a lot of parents are a little hesitant because of those brain injuries. Yeah. Now, just like you, I also played football. My first football league, I was 10 years old. But so we weren't really thinking about it at the time. Yeah. But as we're getting older, and you're a parent, are you hesitant to let your son play football? Or?
I let that choice be theirs. I tell them, hey, if you want to play, let me know. I'll sign you up. But if you feel like it's something you don't want to do, then you don't want to do. I'm not gonna, have them just go out there. It was beneficial for me. My dad took me out. I was like 8 years old. I never forget. We went out and I tried out for this team named the Steelers. Right. And we did like the old school where you lay on the back and you got up and. That was my first drill.
That was what is that? The
heads up, something like that.
Yeah, I can never know the name of it.
Something like that. Bull in the ring.
Well, your guess is as good as mine, man. I don't know.
You stand in the middle and they just tap the guy on the shoulder and they just come hit you.
All I knew was the Oklahoma drill because everybody knew what the Oklahoma drill.
Yeah, the Oklahoma drill.
You had one blocker and then a tackler there, two blockers going at him in front, then the ball carrier, and then they trying to. Right. Yeah, that was something. But
so if for me, I don't regret playing football at all. Like I said, it's benefited me a lot. But as far as my sons are concerned, I'm gonna let them make that decision on their own. If they feel like they want to play, then I sign them up and let them play. If they want to play tackle or tag.
Well, I don't have any children, so I can't make that decision right now. But it's a case by case basis with parents. At this point, either way, whatever you feel is best for your children. I love the game of football, but I understand that it's a violent game. Right. It's a contact sport, and there are going to be long-lasting effects. But the NFL has, as much as I am against a lot of their rule provisions, they have made more of an effort to alleviate a lot of the issues with the brain injuries, with different types of helmets. The rules, obviously, the leading with your helmet, all that extra stuff.
The kickoff.
Exactly.
They done so much.
But at the same time, there's only so much you can do.
Right. It's still
you can still make progress, but there's still a ceiling there. Right. But we're definitely far from the days back when they had kick returns when people were actually dying on the field, because that actually did happen. Yeah, people were actually dying every week.
It's because on the kickoff, that's where some of the most scariest decisions. Yeah. Everybody's going full speed and just running into.
Yeah, remember Eric LeGrand, the guy for Rutgers who had got paralyzed?
Yes.
Yeah, he was paralyzed. So, it was on the kickoff. Wow. So it's a dangerous, violent game that we all love, but we just got to be mindful of the issues and make a judgment, a good base decision on that going forward.
And the numbers have dropped. American kids ages 6 to 12 playing tackle football dropped from 1 million in 2016, 1,217,000 in 2016 to 1,000 262,000 in 2015. So the numbers are dropping every year. Less and less kids are playing tackle football.
Right.
I think everyone's kind of taking that safety protocol. You don't, because we don't know. We're still, finding out new research. I appreciate all these doctors, stepping in, and these guys probably play football and have a passion for it. Just trying to keep everyone safe that's involved in it.
Yeah. There's only so much you can do at the same time. There's only so much.
I agree. And moving on to some more NFL news, the Las Vegas, I keep almost calling them the Oakland Raiders. The Las Vegas Raiders. The Las Vegas Raiders become the first NFL team to, make a rule that the fans have to be vaccinated.
That's what you. Oh, I forgot to tell you that. No, they're not.
Oh, they took it off?
No. They're not the first. The Saints did. The Saints did 3 days ago.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
You can't go into. Matter of fact, the entire city of New Orleans has an indoor vaccination proof card rule. Like going into restaurants, buildings, and gyms. Yeah. You had showed me that we was going to talk about it, but I forgot to tell you. No, they're not the first. Well, we have 2 teams who, the Saints and the Raiders, both are making provisions, and we'll probably have a few more teams probably going to follow suit.
I wonder if they're going to make it to where, like, say a player, like hypothetically a guy like Lamar Jackson. I'm not, shooting in shots at Lamar, but he hasn't been vaccinated as of yet. And you have these teams having provisions as, if you're not vaccinated, you can't enter the arena.
Right.
So does that go for players as well?
I have no idea. Well, as of right now, we only have one NFL team that's fully vaccinated. That's the Atlanta Falcons.
Right,
so,
right.
He's not the only one. There's plenty of teams that have players who have not gotten vaccinations yet. So I don't know what the rule is. I don't know if they're going to just continuously test those guys. But they're still going to test the vaccinated players too. So, I don't know how it's going to work out. But
do you see attendance dropping if they start,
attendance dropping? From who, fans?
Yes, because if you have you still think there's going to be enough people?
Yeah, you don't think so? Man, listen, man, that dome gonna be filled up, bro. That's, I understand that there's going to be a lot of people and there's going to be a lot of pushback with vaccines. I understand that, and as I've said many times, if you don't feel comfortable with the vaccine, you don't take it.
Right.
But at the same time, you're gonna have to understand that with the way we're looking right now and the way that a lot of these local governments are responding to the fact that we're running out of ICU beds and rooms and ventilators, that people are going to take provisions that are going to, require people to take, the vaccine.
Right.
So I just think there's going to be more people. I don't think there's going to be an issue. I think there's still a lot of people that are vaccinated. I know that a good portion of the city of New Orleans is vaccinated, even though the state of Louisiana is having a bad COVID issue.
Right.
So no, I don't think that's necessarily a concern. You're still gonna get some pushback. I didn't know there's gonna be people outside with picket signs outside the stadium with misspelled words and missing teeth. But you just gotta push past them. They don't really matter.
You gotta push past them, and the Seattle Seahawks have pushed past a deal with Jamal Adams. They agreed to a 4-year, $70 million contract, $38 million guaranteed. And I was thinking about Jamal Adams staying with the Seahawks, and is that team ready for a Super Bowl run? Because that really, with all the guaranteed money they're giving all these young players, they're pretty much saying that their roster is Super Bowl ready.
Yeah. We talked about it some weeks ago. I said, as long as you got Russell Wilson in the fold, you're always going to be in the mix. Now, granted, we can make arguments about, does he have enough around him?
I think they do. I think.
Yeah. I'm of the opinion. I'm leaning more towards because he's such an elite talent that I think that the Seahawks are going to contend just off his talent alone.
Right.
But Jamal Adams, another guy, physical type of safety. He's always been that way. I'm not going to bring up LSU. I talk about it every day ad nauseum. But just in the NFL as a pro, was great with the Jets. Had that falling out with them. Now he seems to have found a home at Seattle. That he seemed to fit to what he likes to do, because he's not so much of a ball hawk.
No, he's more of
but a big physical guy who can play at the line of scrimmage, more like a linebacker.
And he can also get some sacks, man.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, he comes off the edge very quick because of his speed as a safety. He has safety speed with linebacker power. So there's not many guys in the league that gives you that. So I think it was a good deal for him. I think it was a good deal for Seattle.
Do you see, because speaking of safeties, I'm of the mindset that in defense, it's better to have more safeties on the field than linebackers in today's NFL. Because the safeties, they're quicker. They can, they can also play coverage. So there's certain linebackers like a Fred Warner, Bobby Wagner, that can play in coverage as well. But if you have like 3 or 4 decent safeties, I think your defense could be very tough to break.
Well, I mean, it depends.
Because sometimes they're like the most athletic.
Yeah. But me, see, you, the reason why I'm just like, because I always said it's always about the pass rush. It's always about, for me, getting to the quarterback. Because if I could build a great pass rush, I'm not saying I could win with any type of corner or safety, but I mean, it's not going to be.
You could be decent.
You can be a decent. I think if it's like a 3-4 defense where you more you depend on then I would have
that's more scheme.
No, I'm thinking more. Yeah, you got me sitting here thinking about scheme, man. I'm trying
more scheme.
I don't want to put my coaching brain on, man. We got a 1-hour show, but it all depends on what you like or what you prefer as a defense coordinator. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't hurt to have an elite defensive back play. It never does.
Right, and I feel like with the way that the offenses are spreading everyone out, I'm not trying to say linebackers are obsolete, but I'm noticing less and less teams are being reliant on linebackers on the field. You're seeing more DBs, safeties, guys that can play in the middle and also play deep in coverage. And Jamal Adams is a good example, and why he got as big of a contract as he did. How much that important that position can be for a defense.
Well, that was just what you said. Now that I think about it, that's why I think I would always prefer a 4-3 because I like my pass rushers on the edge. And having those guys because you don't have as many
tackles eating up the block.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I always had that 4-3 favorable type of deal with them. So, get some corners, get some safeties. But I'll ask one question. Remember the Giants defense, the one that beat the Patriots both years pretty much. Yeah. Do you really remember any all-time great defensive backs they had?
Did they have a Barber brother?
No,
he was
a running back. No, the Barber brother you thinking of played Tampa.
That's right. That's right.
But
no, they didn't.
Exactly. You never really remember, but you remember
Asamoah.
the OCU.
I'm thinking of Osamu. That's what I'm thinking.
OCU Manure. Yeah, you said awesome. Well, that was a corner, but he was with the Raiders. And then you got that deal with Philly and was never the same. But so that's why I've always been of the opinion. But at the same time, amazing defensive back like a Jamal Lewis or a Ed Reed or a Troy Polamalu, those difference makers or playmakers, it never hurts to have those guys on board.
Right.
So.
It never hurts to have those guys on board at all. And moving on to some NBA news. The NBA did release their primetime game schedules coming up for Christmas Day and opening day schedule. And just taking a look at Christmas Day, we got the New York Knicks versus the Atlanta Hawks, the Bucks versus the Celtics, the Suns versus the Warriors, and the Lakers and the Nets, and then the Jazz and the Mavericks. What sticks out to you from the Christmas Day schedule? Because the NBA kind of tells you how they feel about their league in the Christmas Day schedule in their primetime games.
A whole lot of riffraff. No, I'm playing. Yeah, it is. I mean, the big one that everybody's looked at. Because I remember when the news about the Christmas game first. Yeah, that's going to be the one, the most hyped up one. You got Brooklyn and L.A., and then you got the superstars of today and yesteryear with Carmelo. About 150 years old, but he's still in there. And we talked about Utah getting
how did Utah get a primetime slot?
I don't know. I think that's the result of negative energy. When you put some negative energy in there, how everybody said, well, we don't want to watch Utah.
Right.
And the league said, you know what? The hell with y'all. Guess what? So I think that's what we're seeing.
Have Miami.
Yeah, I was too. I thought
Miami there'll be more covering this year. But
and then obviously, they got to get the Knicks in because once again, even at the slightest inkling of the Knicks being halfway decent, they're gonna get like 30 national televised. Watch how many games they get.
That's good.
What was there? 6 seed?
Yeah, it was a
fourth or fifth.
Seed.
Yeah. Featuring Julius Randle. Yeah.
he's decent. He was decent at Kentucky.
But is he a box office you must see no, he's not.
No, he's not must see.
But they're a middle of the road Eastern Conference team. But once again, the New York market rules all. So.
Speaking of markets, the number 2 pick for the Houston Rockets, Jalen Green, came out with a few comments. He said, "Oh man,
we had to get this one."
He said, "I wanted to be the number 1 pick, but as for location, I didn't want to be in Detroit. Green told Yahoo Sports, "I felt a lot more comfortable in Houston. It felt like a real home environment. With Detroit, I felt like I was going to be back in the G League bubble." Wow, Detroit is that bad?
Yeah, it's that bad.
And he went on to say, "And I just got out of the bubble. That's pretty much what it was in the G League bubble. I didn't really have anything to do but just stay in the gym." So, you say you had some, for him to say that, that's tough. He's kind of making Detroit look at him like as whenever we play Detroit, they're going to have some words.
That was beautiful.
That's going to be a
man, they are hot.
Yeah, they
because one thing you can't do, and certain cities in the NBA, they need to get a grip because certain cities need to understand you're not going to be looked at just like Milwaukee. Remember when Milwaukee got mad because Stephen A. Smith and Molly Karam and who was that, Damian Woody, on the first take episode where they was like, man, you're gonna have to go to Phoenix or Milwaukee, and this is like Stephen A. Smith was,
oh yeah.
And they got mad at him, and they had the mayor of Milwaukee write a whole letter about
that was unnecessary.
It's like,
man. Come on,
man. Like just
who
have.
Goes to Milwaukee?
Well, it's not even that. It's like, listen, if you have to sell your city on people, just like Oklahoma City a couple years ago when they made the final.
Right.
If you have to sell your city to people, it probably ain't worth a damn. What? I'm just saying. I mean, you shouldn't have to sell because you don't have to sell Houston. You don't have to tell people why people want to stay in Houston.
Nah.
You don't have to get on the festival. That's why anybody says something about Houston, like, okay, that's fine. I mean, personally, I wouldn't mind if more people moved out of Houston. There's less traffic I deal with on 45. So
45 is tough.
Exactly. Well, there's nowhere that ain't tough. Any of these roads, name one right now. Other than 40, name one. Just
610 is not bad.
Hell, that's it. No, that's hell.
610 is not.
610 is awful.
610 and 10, all right. After 5 o'clock.
610 is after 5 o'clock. No, it's 610 just as bad. Because I take 610 to go to Bel Air when we're doing lights out.
610 can't get back going.
Yeah, going over the Ship Channel. Oh man, it's a grinder. So I mean. But that's people who stay here. We know the bad. That's why we don't care about people down in us. I hope the population goes down. But you shouldn't have to sell your city. If you feel like you have to sell your city, then you know what the deal is. You just fighting the truth. And Detroit, and people who got offended by it was like saying, "Well, Jalen Green ain't right." I get on Twitter and the internet and just all kinds of social media. Every time somebody from Detroit runs their mouth or says something, what's the first thing people go after? Either because it's usually a Lions fan, they love talking trash for no reason. You always talk about how the Lions are terrible and how you have to stay in the hellhole like Detroit. So I don't need people with the fake high morality stuff, man. Cut it out. We all know Detroit bad. That boy ain't saying nothing wrong.
Yeah, he didn't say nothing wrong at all, man. There's nothing wrong with wanting to come to Houston. All you got to do is take one trip down here, man. And
you want a club, you want a party. I mean, because you can't. James Harden stayed down here and he was gallivanting and whoremongering for about 10 years. So listen, they can't even act like Houston ain't the place to be.
Right.
So hey, feelings hurt, but don't cry about it.
Don't ahead cry about it at all. So another thing I want to get to a little bit, we was talking about yesterday. You brought up on the phone college football. I was trying to bring up the top 10 power rankings. I was telling you about how Texas A&M was ranked number 2.
Yeah.
I don't see how that's possible because they don't. Because Kellen Mond's gone.
Now you're creating just content.
Well, no, because Kellen Mond's gone.
Right. I was wondering it too. I was a little surprised, but then we had got into the issue with LSU. I mean, Jimbo is in what's this going to be, year 4, year 5?
4 or 5. I got it.
We got about $750 billion. So for what you're paying him, you better be in the top. But I think they're giving A&M the benefit of the doubt because
recruiting maybe.
And last year they I know Kellen Mond's gone, but
he was a big part of that.
Yeah, but you still have talent, and they're going to have faith in the fact that whoever you put in this place, not necessarily going to be as good, but still going to be a high caliber player, and they're going to contend in the SEC. But last year they came one game away from the college football playoff.
Right.
So they're definitely last year was one of the 5 best teams in the country.
I don't
know they're going to give a big drop off to A&M. They're right there.
I was one of the people that was really contingent for A&M being in that Final Four playoff game. I thought they did lose to Alabama pretty bad.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
It was pretty bad, but who wasn't going to lose to Alabama like that? So I thought A&M deserved a shot in the Final Four. Maybe it was the same results against Alabama, but it would have been better showing than what Notre Dame put on.
I personally thought that Cincinnati should have got the spot.
Cincinnati?
They were undefeated. Listen, man, we don't see, and we talked about this on a different episode.
Right.
This is the problem with college football. There's no real set criteria to make these playoffs. It's just, well, Alabama ran through this schedule, or, Clemson ran through this schedule. There's no set, here's the rules, here's the guidelines, here's what you got to do to be one of the 4 teams at the end of the season. And I looked at Cincinnati. Granted, they didn't have necessarily, being in the American Conference, they didn't have the strength of schedule.
Right.
But, if you win all your games, the best you can do is beat who's ever in front of you.
I get that. And
I already know where you're going with this. It's like, well, you didn't think that they were as talented as...
No. I was going to say, if you're a head coach, because I think before the season, you can schedule games, right?
Right.
And you know what type of ball club you got.
Mm-hmm.
Why won't you put one of them top 10 powerhouses on there? You know what type of team you have. Or you could call up Ohio State right down the street and say, hey, we want to play y'all.
But that's a two-way street, though, because a lot of times what happens is those teams don't want to play them. Because that was Boise State's issue for a long time. They didn't have teams who didn't want to play them.
Yeah.
Know what I mean? And then the fact that they went to teams, it's when you're talking from the standpoint of the bigger schools.
Right.
It's a lose-lose situation because, okay, we can schedule a game for y'all, but y'all are good. If we beat y'all, then we don't get any points for that because we're supposed to do that. But if we lose, it's an embarrassment to us. Right. And we're trying to, the coaches are big. Maybe they might. I always wonder why they don't play Ohio State more often.
I think they could set up.
Yeah, they could, but it all depends on whether that bigger school is trying to take that chance.
Cincinnati could hitch their wagon in the Big Ten if.
You know what? Yeah, I mean,
they got a really good basketball program.
Yeah, their basketball program is good, and they had they were in the Big East. Remember the old Big East? Yeah. So that was at the time considered a big program. Right. So I don't know. I mean, maybe the Big Ten don't want nothing to do with them. They too busy trying to flirt with Notre Dame, and Notre Dame don't want they don't want nothing to do with them. So
sometimes it's the one in the friend zone that you know what I mean.
What? No, I don't like where this is going. We might have changed subject. Talking about the friend zone.
Oh man, I'm just messing.
We're talking about football, Trey. I'm just sitting there talking about relationships. That's a different show, buddy.
Yes, sir. I do apologize. Moving on to some more news, man. The Philadelphia 76ers, they did extend Joel Embiid to a max deal. He got 4 years, $196 million, and that's great for Philly. And that's, in my opinion, I know Joker won MVP, but I still feel like Joel Embiid is the best center in the game right now. Okay. I was going to ask you, do you see within the next? It's hard to forecast in the future, right? But can you see Philly winning the championship within the next 5 years as Joel Embiid being a centerpiece?
Man, I was ready to answer your question about him being the best. I could say I think Joel Embiid is the best center in the game.
Right.
If you remember, I know we talked about it. Before he had his injury, he was pretty much the front runner for MVP. That MVP was his. So, I could definitely agree with you on that point. Now, for Philly to be a championship team, here's the thing. They were the 1 seed last year in the East, right?
Right.
Okay. We have to see, obviously, with the situation with Ben Simmons, how that plays out. We have to see what else, other pieces they're going to put around them, because I think they might still be missing something.
Shooting.
More shooting?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they don't have,
they got Seth. Seth he's decent, but.
No, Seth is pretty good. And Danny Green, too, because they re-signed Danny Green, didn't they?
I'm not too sure, but they should.
I think they did. Yeah, but Danny's getting up there. They might need somebody a little younger as well. Or, just somebody who can also shoot, but put it on the floor and create their own shot as well, because, Ben struggles on the shooting part. He can put it on the floor, but if he ain't dunking or shooting within 5 feet, it's a bad time.
But he keeps showing every year. I see Ben Simmons in a workout, like he's just getting up jump shots. I see Dwight Howard doing it as well. Like, how much of an effect do you think really just playing in arenas have on these guys? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because in the bubble, Jamal Murray, T.J. Warren, guys was just lighting it up with no fans in the stands. But then we get back to the normal, NBA.
Reality sets back in.
Reality sets back in. And then T.J. Warren kind of faded out. Jamal Murray was still pretty good, but he wasn't like how he was in the bubble. Mm-hmm. So how much effect do you think those fans really played to certain players?
I don't know if it's the fans. It might just be the cavernous of the arenas, because they're a lot more bigger. From what we seen, the bubble is a little more. It was more.
Yes.
Yeah, because I didn't even know until a couple years ago. Did you know that when Michael Jordan, when he retired the first time, that first three-peat, they were in a different arena. They were in the old Chicago Stadium.
Yes.
And he won those titles there. Then he retires. And then by the time he came back from retirement, they had moved into the United Center, which they play now.
Right.
He hated the United Center.
I didn't know he hated that.
Yeah, because of the cavernous of the building. Something just kind of threw off his timing or something like that.
Wow.
I don't remember what game exactly it was, but I think the Bulls had lost, and he said, once we leave this arena, we need to burn it down.
Damn.
Yeah, he hated me. So there might be something to like the arenas or the way some of these players view the cavernous of the building and because the bubble kind of had like a lifetime, like a gym membership, 24-hour fitness, ballet, total fitness type of deal with it.
Those guys felt like
they always balling those things, because they're always posting videos in off season like that.
It's kind of like an AAU.
In that sense. So I think there was a difference with that. But either that or it's just a fluke, because that happens too. So
flukes does happen every now and then. Something else I want to get to, man, is we're gonna go right back to the NFL. I know we're bouncing back a little bit. There's just so much news to cover in sports. We're trying to keep up with everything. Mm-hmm. I was gonna get we was talking about our Super Bowl contenders from earlier this year. I know it was just early in the preseason, but we were talking about players. What team impressed you from that first preseason game that you were like, you know what? There's something special about that team, because every now and then, I know it's a preseason game, they'd be like, oh, there's only so much you could take away from it. Right. But I remember 2-3 years ago when I was watching Jacksonville, they just came out with intensity. They was playing hard, and I was like, that's a different Jacksonville team. That's not the same Jacksonville team. They went on to go to AFC Championship, but they lost.
No, you peeped the vision, huh? Well, I mean, it's hard. I think we got to look at collectively how whoever performs throughout the entire preseason the best. Now, one game, it gives you a glimpse, especially if you're keeping your eyes on one particular player.
Right.
But in terms of a team, I'm still thinking, and then you got to keep in mind a lot of the starters of a lot of teams. Play. Yeah, so these were totally different teams that we're actually going to see during the season. So, I'm still of, Kansas City, still there, Tampa Bay, the usual suspects as of right now. Nobody's really jumped out to me as of yet.
Well, there was a team mine is the Jets. I'm not saying they're going to make a long run, but they did a really good job in this year's draft. I really think they really kind of turned their franchise around to where they were last year and the year before that. Kind of felt like the Jets were almost the worst team in the NFL for a while. But this past draft, and I'm watching them in that preseason game, I was like, Zach Wilson's decent. They got some pretty good weapons around him. They got the offensive lines come together. That tackle they picked up, he can maul people, man. They picked him up in the first round last year. He's a beast. And they also got a good pass rush. So I'm like, you know what? The Jets could kind of make teams a little uncomfortable out there in the AFC.
I gotta correct myself, because you said the Jets, and I said really, and I'm never mind. I'll tell you that later. But no, because you said the Jets used to be bad. They were bad, and I was like, really? And I don't know why I said really. Like, I'm gonna be surprised the Jets used to suck.
Oh,
so you said the Jets surprised you most.
They got a different coaching staff. They got different GMs. I could tell they're really trying to put that team. They're trying to turn the whole team around as a franchise, and I see it. And
I see they're trying to turn, because they didn't turn it around.
They can really come out and shock some people. Them Cincinnati. This is probably gonna be one of them unusual years where we see a couple of unusual teams at the top.
Well, I believe when I see it when it comes to the Jets, because they've had a lot of front office and head coaching overhaul so much. They've had 3 or 4 different general managers, 7 or 8 different coaches. So, obviously it's another new era, because they quarterbacks too. They've had a lot of them. So we'll see with them. They look good in the first preseason, so that's a start. They're still 0-0 when the regular season comes. So
facts. And we're going to get more in depth until every single NFL team and every single division. We are still coming up with the 8 division in 8 days. We're going to launch that right before the NFL season does start. And we also will have the fantasy football draft here live on Maxx Sports TV. And also be on the lookout for upcoming on our esports events. We're going to start putting out some Madden 22 content. Keep you guys up to date on news on that as well.
Yeah, somebody else going to have to play that. I ain't playing. I ain't played Madden since Madden 12.
You haven't played since 12?
No, I lied. Because because I had 18 and I used to play that, and then I didn't get 19.
Right.
Well, I got, let me see, Madden 12. I had Madden 12. 13 I got, and I was only having for a couple months, and I wouldn't play them. 19 I never got. I had 18. I still have that.
Right.
19 I never got. 20 I decided to get. I quickly regretted that and deleted that off my damn game system. And so I was like, no more.
That one was bad.
You ain't getting $60 more in my money. Because it's just such a... And once again, we probably will never get any advertising from EA Sports because I'm about to say something very negative. But it's a cash grab. It's a big cash grab because like they have that Ultimate Team deal where they have the you pay to win basically because you're playing these games and you're buying these packs so you can get these players. Because if you don't buy those packs, you can't play those players, and then when you play online, you get just absolutely murked. Yeah. Because you ain't spending money. Exactly. And I'm like, I already paid $60 for that. I mean, you ain't getting another dime out of me for this crap.
And so, I completely agree. I feel like virtual currency in all video games has ruined.
Yeah, because 2K does that. It's just they just pickpocketing you after you already paid $60. I paid $60. I should get the whole damn full game.
Yeah, that's how I felt about a lot of games. Even like the little Fortnite games, the kids. Like,
I already knew you. They got you slaving with that. You fight for your life on that Fortnite, boy. It's an all-night deal with you. Shout out to the Williams kids. They running him ragged.
They nice, Zeke, Aiden. They be going off.
I bet they are. I bet they ruining you. Boy, you just be showing up here just Fortnite it out.
Hey, they be doing a little dance. I can't even do it.
That little stupid ass dance they put on there. Man, listen. I'm done. I'm not doing that.
And we're gonna try to keep it up with some more football news to you. Speaking of Madden, man, they do come out with the ratings. And I always feel like I never understood how they could just kind of put a cap on any player because to me, players, they fluctuate from week to week. But speaking of Madden, like, what is your top 5 like video game players that you ever played with? Like, period.
On Madden? Or
yeah, Madden.
No, we gotta talk about Madden today.
Top 3. You don't have to get 5.
I mean,
I know Jamal Lewis used to give me the business with Jamal Lewis and the Ravens.
Yeah, because that's what I play with. Defense and running game is a strategy old as time, man. Right. It always helps because you still had Ray Lewis, Ed Reed back there. Jamal Lewis. I used to love just any big burly running back because Jerome Bettis was good.
You like using the Titans now.
Who the Titans?
Yeah,
but it just don't. It wouldn't be the same. Like it's not the Madden that we grew up with. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like you use Derrick Henry, but you get tackled and glitches and all this stuff, and you running up the field with one leg, probably half a shoulder pad. You ever seen them glitches on YouTube? They post that.
It'd be crazy.
That stuff never happened in the games that we played. Like the Maddens now, like. They don't even worry about the gameplay anymore. It's just about the graphics and then the money you could get out of these little kids.
Right.
So,
facts.
They're a bunch of crooks up there. Once again, I don't need the advertisement. We'll be fine without it.
Well, I will give EA Sports this. I did enjoy NBA Street. Do you remember that game?
From 2005.
Yeah, I mean.
See what I'm saying? Like this is what we talk about. You talk about good stuff. It's like from 15, 16 years ago.
That's true.
The past 10 years, they've been absolute garbage. They're horrible people up there, man.
I can't wait for 2K to make a football game. I think they're going to.
I don't even know that because I don't even think that's the same 2K. Oh, yeah. Because they've been kind of getting, 2K is kind of like NBA 2K.
2K is bad.
I don't even the whole video game industry is in. Well, I'll say the video game sports industry.
Right.
The 2K sports and the EA sports. Excuse my language. It's in the shitter. It's the drizzling shits.
Oh man, I like that one. So I was watching the Texans past couple years, man, and we getting ready to move off.
I'm sorry for that, by the way.
Nah, man, it's all good. We're getting ready to move off Deshaun Watson, and just as a Texans fan, I know a lot of people, we enjoy watching number 4, but now it's gonna kind of feel like the Texans are gonna be like a bedtime movie. Because I used to do that. I used to put the Texans on when I'm ready to take a nap. And it feel like
I was wondering where you were going with that.
Well, I'm just saying.
Because Deshaun is like bedtime. I don't know what bedtime you talking about, buddy. Yeah, we already had enough uncomfortable moments here on Maxx Sports TV. But
what I'm saying is like once the Texans move off of Deshaun Watson, how are they going to galvanize this city, man? Because I feel like once we do move off Deshaun Watson, the Texans are going to be in a real bad spot with the city and their fans. It's going to be real hard to pull people back. I feel like we're back on almost on this Houston Oilers wave again, in the sense that the city just lose interest in it.
Well, it's the simplest thing, man. Winning always galvanizes people. It always brings the fans back in, always brings the support back in.
Right.
Now, how they're going to do it, that's the big question. Because obviously Deshaun Watson is looking somewhat bleak. But this is a good football town, all things considered. They're still going to show up for the Texans. They still fill that stadium up regardless. Right. Now, for the Rockets, they don't do that, but the Texans definitely always, because Houston is a football town. But in terms of support from the city or confidence in the GM and the head coach, you're just going to have to show that you're consistent and you have a formula for success, whether Deshaun Watson is on the roster or not. So that's all it's going to take.
Nick Casseri's our GM. I'm trying to remember the guy name that everyone's kind of been fed up with the Texans. He's been with us for a while.
Oh, that religious dude. I heard his. You know what? I've been hearing his name like when I would drive back and forth when I was at my previous place of employment. I would hear them say the guy's name. I can't remember. Somebody remember that. He's a real religious guy,
right,
like a preacher or something.
But he has
But he's good with Cal McNair.
Yeah, he's very good with Cal McNair, but he has a lot to do with the Texans player personnel and the draft picks. And, when they evaluating guys, there's a certain screening that he has. Mm-hmm. I just feel like, since he's been on, that really haven't catapulted our roster. Like, our roster is not – before he got there, we had guys like Davian Clowney, J.J. Watt,
right.
Andre Johnson, Hopkins. We was had some talented players, but he's not. He hasn't been drafted.
He's not liked either, because remember when Andre Johnson came out and said that as long as he's a part of the organization, they're going to lose.
Yeah.
So whoever that dude is, this dude is of a very toxic nature. So yeah, they might. But once again, he has connections with Cal McNair. So
right,
him and Cal are good. I don't know, what they do. I'm not gonna make them accusations, but whatever situation they've got going on, I don't see it ending until Cal McNair wants to end the relationship with him, because if not, he's always going to be in the fray, and the problems are going to keep on persisting with the Texans. So yeah, it's something to worry about. It is something to worry about.
I cannot remember this guy's name, but
no, we gotta look at.
As soon as I get his name,
yeah, we too busy watching screen.
Because I feel like you said, Houston is a huge football city. We have great fan base. If we have a really good team that everyone could get behind, I think this could probably be the biggest football market in America.
Absolutely,
because
yeah.
If you look at the high school football scene,
exactly.
This is, per capita, most of the NFL players do come out of Houston. If you look at the past couple of drafts, we as far as top 100 in recruiting, all that, Houston loves its football. So for the football team, the actual pro football team to be lacking and not that good, it's kind of hard to really get behind that team.
I agree. But winning cures all. That's all it's going to take.
And I don't see how we're going to start winning.
Even though your quarterback is a freak bull. No, I'm sorry.
So would you, as a Saints fan, if the Texans came and said, "Hey, we got Deshaun Watson"?
Hey man, don't ask me that question. I ain't got no integrity. I'll take him on the team either way. They got plenty. Hey, it's New Orleans. They got plenty of crazy stuff going on. You find stuff way more freakier than the massage parlor. I'll tell you that right now. He'll get his spill. He'll get his plenty, all the types of nastiness he wants.
Oh,
not from me though. I'm just saying from whoever.
No, I get you.
Yeah, I'm not. Hey, I don't swing that way. Not that nothing wrong with it, but he definitely gonna get his entertainment.
I think he, I don't want to get too far into detail with the, allegations and everything.
No, we done made jokes, and this is right, but this is not a laughing matter.
I think once everything gets cleared up,
right,
and wherever this destination he does decide to go, Deshaun Watson, he's going to start winning. I think he's going to have one of those kind of Kobe Bryant / guys that had troubling times hypothetically, and then they started winning, and then all of a sudden it just kind of went away.
Goes away. Yeah, that's what I said. This is my point. Winning cures everything. We know,
circle on that one.
Exactly. So we'll see what the Texans do from there.
We'll definitely see what the Texans will do. And again, guys, this is the event, man. This is not just about me and Darrian talking. We would love to hear you guys' opinions. Comment right down below in the comment section. Me and Darrian, we've been watching our phones.
You know what? Miss Joyce. Hey, Miss Joyce. Thanks for watching.
Hey, Mama. How you doing?
Yeah, Jack Easterby.
Jack Easterby. That's the name.
That's the name.
Yeah. Thank you. So Jack Easterby, man, he has kind of really rubbed a lot of people in Houston the wrong way, and it's not just the fans. Like you said, it's guys like Andre Johnson, Texans legends, and some people say he had a lot to do with DeAndre Hopkins getting traded as well.
It wouldn't shock me. I know Bill O'Brien had something to do, but if Easterby had got into his ear and probably got into Cal McNair's ear, then that's probably why Hopkins ain't on the Texans anymore. So that's what I'm saying. Toxic people create toxic climates, which leads to toxic results and toxic rosters that people, don't want to watch.
Yeah, I would love to see how the Texans turn this around. Nick Caserio, he's a highly respected GM. I know the Texans, we've been kind of probing at him for like the last couple of years, trying to get him out of that New England tree.
Right.
And I'm wishing for the best. But just watching that first preseason game, seeing his first couple of draft picks, maybe it's Jack Easterby draft picks, I don't know. You know what I mean?
That's
Just
so
saying, because
crazy.
Jack Easterby, there's a clip. When they was showing the draft, you see Jack Easter, because they said Jack Easterby would have no more involvement in the rosters. But in the war room, you see
Right.
Jack Easterby clapping it up every time a guy was getting drafted. I'm like, wait a minute, y'all say he would have no more personnel decisions, but yet he's in the war room for the draft day.
Because they were lying, right? They're liars. When you're a loser, you're capable of lying too.
Right.
So, hey, we'll see.
We will definitely see. And that's going to do it, guys. We're starting. We did start the show a little bit late. We do apologize. We had a few kinks to work out on the back end, but we got everything up and running. I want to give a huge shout out to our producers in the back, Zachary Fordyce and George. Man, those guys do a great job. All the backdrop, the plays y'all see right behind us, man. The lighting, the production, everything's produced by Maxx Sports. Again, we do have wrestling this coming Sunday. We'll be covering the UPW.
Your guess is as good as mine.
UPW Wrestling, they do a phenomenal
UPW.
job out in Texas City. They're going to be having it at the bar. If you guys can make it out there this Sunday, if you guys love just the wrestling and the backstories and how it grows, it'll be something for everyone to be special, be a part of.
Yeah.
And that's going to do it. Gentre Williams, Darrian Valsin, we signing off. We'll see you guys back tomorrow. And we also do have Lights Out with Lou. You guys have a great night. Peace and love. We out.
I'm here to say, face get checked like TSA. This is a PSA. Sports in my blood like DNA. We grinding for the chip like Frito-Lay. And I'm gon' let you know if he don't play. I promise this show will never be a bore. Checking out talent from Sea Keys to North Shore. All the way to North Shore. It'll never be a gimmick. Was at Aldine, now I'm at Nimitz. Kings in the city, we gon' need to wear a crown. You can bet us now, we the livest in A-Town. So while you tipping in your slab or your Chevy, or you chilling in your house, get your popcorn ready. Get your popcorn ready. I'm having visions of Bentley. Friday just put me in a football frenzy. They ain't all we do. We cover basketball, tennis, and baseball. We do it all. This is time well spent. It's 7 o'clock, so it's time to vent.